The Nurburgring Nordschleife is one of the most famous racing circuits in the world, but also one of the most complex. In this video, I'm going to outline 10 simple steps to help you learn it. Let's do this. What's up guys, it's Mike for SimRacing604 and welcome to my guide to learning the Nordschleife. This isn't intended to help experts shave a few extra tenths off their lap times, but rather to help people who are trying to learn the track and not having any success, or for those who want to learn it but don't know where to start. I'll be focusing exclusively on the modern Nürburgring Nordschleife full layout, but once you know the track, it'll be easy to adapt this to the endurance layout or the tourist layout that you might see in some sims. The modern layout is 21 kilometers long with 73 turns and over 1,000 feet of elevation change, so it's a lot to learn, but there are some simple practical steps that I'll cover that should shorten the learning time. These steps will apply to any racing game or racing sim you choose, and once you've learned the track, you'll probably find it a very rewarding and fun drive. The Nordschleife has become the de facto test bed for any production sports car built recently, and the lap time a car achieves often affects sales numbers. Also, this track has been home to racing for a very long time, so you might find yourself watching real-world VLN races, or perhaps even participating in a virtual race yourself in the future. Either way, this track is worth learning, so let's get to it. The first step towards success in learning the Nordschleife is getting in the right mindset. Something that's going to happen is you're going to crash. A lot. Even when I was filming the B-roll for this video, I crashed a lot, and I know the Nordschleife quite well. It's going to happen to you too. And you will have to put in some time. Like anything worth doing in life, it's going to take some time and some effort, but you will get there. That's the important part. You will learn the Nordschleife. So get that in your mind that you're this close to success. You just need to put in a little bit of work, and don't be afraid if you crash quite a bit along the way. The Nordschleife is a long and intricate course, which can make it overwhelming to try and memorize. But just like any other course, you can break it up into smaller, more digestible chunks to start to memorize it. First you learn a few corners, then you start to memorize entire sectors, and then those sectors come together to form an understanding of the entire course. Most race courses are broken down into 3 sectors, but I like to treat the Nordschleife as 10 different sectors. In the description below, there's links to videos I've put together to help you through each separate section. But the important part is you break this course into smaller, more digestible chunks instead of trying to memorize the whole course at once. This will help you get there faster. Another step to learning this track is choosing the right car. Ideally, you'd want something around GT3 performance. It doesn't have to be a GT3 car, but somewhere in that performance range is ideal. That'll be something that's exciting enough to keep your interest and make you want to learn, but at the same time not so powerful that you'll be constantly losing control. And please stick to just one car for now. It's tempting to throw around different cars, but while you're learning it, stick to one car. You'll start to learn where you can push the car and where you have to kind of ease off. So ideally, stick to one car once you've chosen it. One of the things that really held me back when I was trying to learn the Nordschleife myself was that I would be having a pretty good lap, and then I would crash, and then I would rage quit. Please don't do this. Please take the time to finish the lap. No matter how many times you've crashed, always finish the lap. This does a couple of things. One, it doesn't make it monotonous because you're not running the same sections over and over. And two, you'll learn the remainder of the track rather than just quitting early and not knowing how the lap finishes. Of course, this is going to affect your lap time, but it doesn't matter. Forget about lap times for now. And that brings us nicely to step 5. Don't chase the clock just yet. Eventually you will start becoming faster by braking a little later and getting on the accelerator a little early coming out of corners, but for now just focus on running consecutive, clean laps. Avoid the temptation to have a lap delta on your screen. Just focus on consecutive, safe laps. That's the most important part. Even though you'll find the Nordschleife in just about every modern racing game and racing sim, it's important to stick with just one for now. Consistency is key when learning the Nordschleife. Different sims might have slightly different dimensions, but more importantly, they handle differently. And just like when you choose a car and stick with it, you will need to learn where in the sim you can push and where you need to back off. So consistency is key. The learning curve for Nordschleife is obviously going to vary from person to person, but as a good rule of thumb, after 10 to 20 laps you should have it more or less memorized and be able to put together a complete lap. So that translates to about 2 to 4 hours of driving time. Ideally you would do this in one sitting. If you can make time for one consecutive run of 2 to 4 hours to learn, you should have it down. Taking a break will open the door for forgetting certain sections of the track, so try and do this all in one fell swoop if possible, but as a rule of thumb, 10 to 20 laps, 2 to 4 hours, and you should be able to start putting together consecutive safe laps. I spoke earlier about the mindset of learning Nordschleife, so there's definitely a mental aspect, but there's a physical aspect as well. The laps here at Nords are very long and they can wear you out, especially if you're just learning the track and you're tense, trying to not crash and trying to memorize corners. So be sure to maintain steady breathing throughout your lap and try and focus on keeping your forearms and your calves nice and loose. Just try and relax the body as much as possible and keep breathing. Despite its length, the Nordschleife actually offers very few passing opportunities, so avoid the temptation for now to join in any online races. The problem is that as a beginner, some of your driving lines are going to be a bit erratic. As people move to pass you, you risk running them off the road and ruining their online race, and it's a long limp home to the pits at a course like this. So be sure to memorize the course first, then practice with a few AI races to learn the passing opportunities and really hone your racing line. After that, you can start to think about joining some online races, but be sure you know the course very well, and be sure you also know how to pass at the Nordschleife and be passed. Two of the characteristics that make Nordschleife very unique in the world of racing are its aggressive curbs and hills. The elevation changes are massive at this course, and the curbing can be quite steep. The height and the pitch of the curbs can really throw some cars around, so use extreme caution when taking aggressive racing lines that include driving over curbs. At many other circuits around the world, you can take them very aggressively and even gain time by going over curbs, but here at Nordschleife, be warned. As a rule, stay away from curbs while you're learning the course, because they tend to really throw the car around. And be cautious of the elevation changes at Nords as well. Something that it does is it tends to shrink or expand the braking zones. If you're driving downhill, for example, into a corner, you'll have to allow yourself more braking distance. And uphill, you can find some extra speed by braking a little bit later. There's also crests on this track, which can really lighten the car and even cause you to jump at some points. It looks really cool, but it can be difficult and another element to learn here at Nordschleife. So that's it for my 10 steps, guys, and I hope you found these useful. These are tips that will apply to any racing sim or racing game and should help shorten the learning curve for one of the most difficult tracks to conquer. The two biggest takeaways here are that you'll simply need to put in a few good hours to learn it, and it's a very complex track to learn, so crashing is okay, but don't give up. Have fun with it, guys, and remember that I've linked to my training videos for the individual sections below. Thank you for watching.